Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joseph Alvarez Cortez, and today I will be presenting TestComplete as my security testing tool. What is TestComplete? Well, TestComplete is an automated testing platform developed by SmartBear Software, and it gives the users the ability to create automated tests for Microsoft Windows, web, Android, and iOS applications. And the test can be recorded, scripted, or manually created with keyword-driven operations and used for automated playback and error logging. Some of the features include the ability to build automated UI tests, object recognition, data parsing, data-driven tests, and even cross-browse and device testing. It supports many testing types, such as functional testing, data-driven, regression, unit, keyword testing, web testing, and basically all the ways you can probably test your software, and that many companies have adopted to test their software. And it also supports many scripting languages, such as JavaScript, Python, VB script, JScript such as C# and C++, Delphi script, and also Visual Basic. The demo further down will be, it is written in Python. And the setup was rather simple. You just have to meet the minimum requirements of a 64-bit OS system, at least an Intel Core i5, 3rd gen, 8 gigs of RAM, 2 gigs of disk space or more, and a screen resolution of at least 1280 by 1024. Their pricing is a little expensive, their licenses, but they are very good at communicating during and after license purchases. And they also have packages for big companies too. And they offer a 30-day free trial. You just have to sign up on their website, get their trial, and that's it. No other setup or access is needed or required to use TestComplete. Some of the general use case and benefits of TestComplete include that it is used to find errors in software, such as data entry and controls, out of bounds data entry checks, special processing behavior, and many more. It can be used to identify security vulnerabilities in the software, such as username and password checks and code injection, which is what I'll be showing during the demo. And anyone with scripting knowledge can use TestComplete. It covers virtually every testing type. It is object-based, so any object on the screen can be interacted with. And because it's automated, a script can run as long as the user needs or wants it to. And the logs are detailed and simple enough that anyone can understand what the outcome of the script was. And like mentioned before, it can be used with web apps, Windows applications, and mobile applications. So I will be demoing TestComplete with different ways. First, I'll be using two dummy websites that are used for this type of testing. The first one is called Sauce Demo, and the website is simulating a store, online store. So this is how TestComplete looks. And on the left, you can see here all my scripts split in folders to keep it organized. And I'll show a little bit of the scripts here, what they look like. In this case, this is a script to log in where I am getting my username from the data that I have. I have system wait so that TestComplete can wait for the browser, because TestComplete is so fast that sometimes the browsers or the software can't keep up with it. And it fails because it can't find the control. Not because it's not there, but because TestComplete checked too quick before the software finished loading. I also have more of the same throughout the script, just getting data, making sure the controls exist. I do it by looking for the object in the browser. I identify the object with any of its attributes, and once you get it, you can check if it's there. If it's not, if it doesn't exist, you can error out or just continue on with your script. And again, like I mentioned, these scripts, these are written in Python, so it should be very familiar. Some of these scripts that I have here are more towards the checkout process, filling in some of the checkout information that you'll see, adding items to cart, and all that stuff. when I go to the other website, I will show more of those. So this first, more scripts. This first demo is where everything runs successful and every test passes. In my case, it'll log in. This is all TestComplete. You can see here on the top right when TestComplete is running. So it opened Firefox, went to the website by itself. In this screen, it's checking that every item is there, that the price is correct, that every item was added to the cart. And now it's continuing with the checkout process where it's entering my information and make sure that the checkout information that was here was correct. And it also checked that the order confirmation number showed up at the very end. It was TestComplete, like I said, it's very fast. So it did everything that I just mentioned. And we can see here, this is how typically the logs look. Although it may look a little bit cluttered, you can actually, you can filter it here on the top. So some of the things that I want to highlight from the log is how TestComplete mainly, well, you can set messages, but TestComplete will actually auto log events, which are keyboard inputs and mouse inputs as well. And it'll get a picture of the screen highlighting the item that was interacted with. In this case, we can see how it interacted with the search bar in order to type in the website and then go to the website. And I'll remove the events because I want to highlight the messages on checkpoints. The messages are the custom messages that I added through the script, where it's letting whoever reads the log, it's showing them what data was entered, in this case, the username, the password. I have checkpoints to highlight in green the more important aspects of my script, which in this case, the login was successful, so I count that as a checkpoint. And here we can see how TestComplete was checking every item and the price and make sure it was correct and then adding it to the cart. And that's what it did with every item that we saw on the screen, as you can see, as it says here. And then again, you can read through the log and see just what everything that TestComplete was checking. And this here, I can see that I added my name, Joseph, during the checkout, my last name, and a random zip code that I just wrote down. And as the final checkpoints that I have is that I confirmed the store card, the shipping info, the total amount to pay, and the order confirmation. So this test is, like I said, a successful test. So I'll close the windows and now I'll run a test where it'll fail because my scripts are actually catch the errors caused here. In this case, the errors are that the items are not, some of the items have wrong prices and not every item is added to the cart. As we can see here, some say remove and some say add to cart, and this is actually an issue. So here we have my what it looks like. In this case, it's more the same where it tells which username you entered, which password, the login was successful. It checked the prices and all of that, but it failed in this message here. It says that the shopping cart is not displaying the correct amount of items, which is true. The checkout is only displaying 3 when I try to add all 6. So that's an error catch that was caught by my scripts. And this is how it looks like. And again, you can filter it so that it can only show you the errors. So like mentioned before, the logs are very detailed and very organized for anyone in your team to look at, not just like developers or whoever wrote the script, and anyone can identify what's actually going on. And finally, I want to show for soft demo, this test will be what happens when you want to do like a security vulnerability check. In this case, I am parsing a list of passwords here that I created, and I'll be attempting every password with the username, one of the usernames. So this is in cases where, let's say you have data leaks or something, you can actually get all of the username and all the passwords, and you can get TestComplete to try every combination. And just to see what works, or you can write a script that just auto-generates passwords all day long and just tests every possible combination until the end of time. And then, or until it hits a match and it can log in. In this case, we'll see it opening the browser, going to the website, and we'll see how it enters the username and the password. And because the login keeps failing, it'll just keep trying the next password that was on the list that I showed. And you won't be able to tell because the passwords are encrypted here. We can't see what they are. But in the log, I'll be able to tell which combination was not successful but which combination was. So there we go, that I finished. And here in the script, we can see that it says that the username, standard user, and the password1 combination was not successful. And then it keeps going with every combination possible, with every combination in the list, which is password 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way until it reached a successful login, which I put as a checkpoint. It says that the username, standard user, was successfully logged in with the password secret sauce. And this is, like I said, for those security checks where you want to make sure that you can't somehow exploit user accounts or the passwords, or if there's the data leak and you want to check the username and password just to make sure that there's not one that can still be accessed, or really whatever you need to be tested, TestComplete can be molded to it. And now I'll show some cross-code injection. Again, this website is a dummy website with for the purposes of practicing code injection. And again, this is how some of the scripts and the code looks like. More the same, or parsing my data, which I actually have here. I have a file with different commands that I am trying to inject, and I'm parsing it, and I'll be trying that with the controls on the screen, which I'll run right now here. So in this case, it'll go to a different website. Like I said, this website is for these purposes, and we can see here how it's trying the combination, and because it's failing, it'll just hit try again, and then just keep trying until it can successfully inject code. And this can be done with any control in your application or website. And again, I have the log showing that the code injection, whatever this was not successful for the field text box query, which is the name of this text box here, this one. Because it is object-oriented, that's how I'm able to find it in the screen. And again, it's going through everything what was not successful until it was able to find that this code injection script alert was successful in that text box. That's how it finds that kind of vulnerability, security vulnerability, in your web application or any mobile application or whatever you want to test. So now I'll go back to the presentation. There we go. So the ease of use and challenge. TestComplete, once a license is acquired, and the initial is very simple. Anyone with a scripting language can use it, or background knowledge on scripting or programming. It supports many platforms. Scripts can run on the user wants or needs, and because it supports scripting languages, their libraries can be used, and the logs are very helpful for individuals or team members, where not everyone might have the knowledge to program, but they can read a log. It'll be very detailed for them, just to step through what the script did. And some of the challenges with TestComplete is that there's a steep learning curve at the beginning when you're trying to understand how to interact with objects. It takes a moment to click how you're supposed to use it. You must know scripting language to get the most out of TestComplete's features. Figuring out how to interact with controls or objects for the first time can be a challenge. And in my case, I was working with my scripts, and then one day my browser auto-updated, and TestComplete would not work because the browser had just gotten the update. TestComplete had not been updated to support that browser's latest version. So just some things to keep in mind if you work with TestComplete. And I just want to conclude by saying that TestComplete really proved me to be a very powerful tool, both because it can be used to improve an application or really exploit an application's vulnerabilities. And here is my email information in case you would like to see more of the scripts or know more about TestComplete, since I was a little bit limited by time. And thank you, everyone.